to take a look at the headlines this morning. And of course, in studio we do have, on my immediate left, Anna Nyokabi Gadesha, Women Representative, Kiambu County. Next to her, Rosa Buyu, Deputy Organizing Secretary, ODM, also an aspirant for the Kisumu Women Representative seat. And next to her, Senator Beatrice Alachi, also an aspirant for the Dagoretti North Parliamentary seat. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Morning. Morning.
Yes. Now, the headlines today are quite different. On the Daily Nation, we have the voters' numbers, and on the Standard, we have the NASA deal. Big news, Rosa, big news today, and this is what you've been waiting for. It reads, secrets of new NASA power deal. Perhaps it leaked, and therefore there. Flag bearer and his running mate will be the winner in party nominations. NASA president to use executive decree to create office of chief minister, later prime minister after amendments. Other positions to be shared are those of speakers and majority leaders in houses, of course, that we had. Coalition to zone off regions and give party nomination rights in their strongholds. Now, this is one contentious issue. We do not know if this is a deal, but we know that they're signing an agreement today. You'll give us the details, probably a leakage before the actual signing. On the Daily Nation, 13 counties hold State House key. Voter registration figures show regions favoring ruling coalition locked in a neck-and-neck tie, and those leaning towards NASA. Now, of course, we said immediately after the mass voter registration exercise, politicians will just be sitting down with calculators and looking at this region A plus region B plus C, and that's exactly what has been broken down here. The Jubilee-leaning counties, starting, of course, with Kiambu, which has over 1 million voters. I think that's a county with the highest number of voters ever. 1.1 million new total number of voters in 2017. NASA-leaning counties, we have Kakamega as the biggest county there, and of course battlegrounds, including Nairobi, where Senator Elachi comes from. So probably let's start off with this other headline that's also on the front page of the Daily Nation. Do not judge me, I only cheated to save my marriage. Jacqueline Mwende, the woman who lost her hands in a brutal panga attack last year, reveals to the Daily Nation details of her affair with another man and why, despite the dark-eyed disapprovals, she's so delighted to become a mother. Now, of course, this was one case we watched on TV, and it was a sad state of affairs, seeing someone lose her limbs because of a domestic dispute. Of course, the husband has been charged for attempted murder, and the case is still continuing. I think he has the case is being mentioned this week again. But now this revelation that she actually went out of her marriage and now she's feeling the disapproval of society. From a woman's standpoint, should we judge her? Of course, society will.
Well, let's talk about the issue, because I think the main issue and the right here is childlessness within marriages and what to do about it. Jacqueline Mwende, she was attacked by her husband. They had been in a marriage that was childless for quite a long time. And for women, the issue of being able to bear children is one that is probably within their DNA, that desire, that need to have children. And how do we handle issues when society says that the problem of childlessness is a woman's issue? It is not the man. There is complete society completely disapproves that and disagrees that men can be childless. But we do know today that many times men are the causes of childlessness because of either low sperm rate, low sperm count, inability, for them not being formed, and therefore their inability to fertilize their wife. And this becomes a medical issue. How do we get society to accept that when this issue happens, that people can go to the hospital, be checked, and be able to sit down and agree on a way forward? There's an issue of denial, that it cannot be his problem, and therefore the woman needs to be chased off and chased away. And what she did, is it wrong? You know, this is probably something that we need to take a look at within the context of our cultures. In today's society, it would be judged as wrong, but traditionally, at least I know in our culture, in our Kikuyu culture, there was at least one child that was not your husband's child, but your husband's age mate, simply because they said that you would bear one outside in case there was disease or
wow.
Yes, that came up, so that you don't finish off.
That was allowed.
It was allowed traditionally. We don't operate within those traditional mindsets. But now the issue becomes: is this an issue that we would put on the table to discuss and agree on a way forward as a family, as a society, as a community from which they come from?
Yes, Rosa, of course, the issue of childlessness is a bigger issue. It's a bigger problem that as a society we do not know how to address it, and she chose her own way of addressing it. It backfired, but now she has to live with the consequences.
I sympathize with her, and a lot of women today in marriages can actually identify with her, because we have so many marriages where there's no child, okay, and marriages threatening to break down because of childlessness. A woman always takes it upon herself as her responsibility to hold up that marriage and to keep the marriage. And by the time this lady went out to have an affair in order to conceive, she did it not because of sexual pleasure, but she did it to save her marriage. And it's just unfortunate that the husband might have gotten to hear that she was having an affair. But otherwise, I know she intended to keep it secret so that she could have a child. She could bear a child for her husband and keep the marriage intact. So that is to the extent that a woman is able to sacrifice herself, go out and do what she might never have thought of doing just to keep the marriage. So to me, I sympathize with her. And I know many women are in this state because men are in denial. They never think that the problem could be a medical, they could have a medical problem, and they would be the ones causing childlessness in a marriage.
But is it lack of knowledge even on the woman's part that probably she did not know any other possible solution?
Probably she knew. No, probably she knew. But it takes two to sort out childlessness in a marriage. The woman and the man needs to go to the doctor to seek medical advice and be checked, so that they can ascertain what the problem is. But in this case, probably seeing what the man did to her, I think this man was the sort of person who did not even want to imagine that he's the cause of the problem. So he chose to deal with it the way he thought he could deal with it. So this woman, knowing that she wanted to keep her marriage and that she loved the husband, decided that since we are not sorting this out in any other way, let me go and do it the way that I know as a woman. And probably she was going to make the man feel happy that the child was his, and the marriage would have gone on.
Senator, the woman, Jacqueline Mwende, felt judged for not having a child. Now she's pregnant. She's being judged for having a child.
Well, I think first of all, this now brings out clearly that when the husband was beating Jacqueline, I believe he knew he's the one who has a problem.
And that's why he chopped the hand off.
Are you now pregnant? Because definitely he knew this woman is pregnant.
But there was an issue of extramarital affair here. Probably that was the cause of the fighting.
First of all, you have stayed for a long time. By the time you're chopping your wife, it means this is a battle you have been fighting every day. And within society, they keep on saying 1 year now is down the line, 2 years, 3 years you brought this woman, she has not
conceived, she's cursed.
She's they now start bringing issues of family. She's barren, maybe she was cast by the grandmother. So many things they bring on you, but they forget also their son might have a problem. And for me, Jacqueline's husband was the problem, because after leaving to go to another man, you conceive, and then now because of anger, and now you're going to reveal it is me who is the problem. What Jacqueline's husband thought at that time, I'll beat Jacqueline to death to hide my inadequacy in a marriage. But then God said, no, I will ensure it comes out. So now here it is. And I'm telling, all we can tell women, especially young women, that sometimes it is good to have relationships. It is also good to use family planning, but it's very dangerous as you move on, because you're not married. By the time now you'll come, you're looking for a child. you know, you have to take a while, because now you have to ensure you get cleaned up and all that. And I know this morning pill where we just keep quiet and young girls just stick has become a challenge to many marriages. So I'll tell the young men also, give your wife at least 5 years to 6 years. Anyone who you've gotten, both of you
5 years after marriage.
I'm telling you.
Wow.
Because of that morning pill.
Now,
and they should look at
these
also.
are the conversations we rarely get to have. And probably it's the misinformation or lack of knowledge that is informing some of these violence. Because probably even the husband could have just agreed, because some of these problems we do understand.
There's remedy.
Yes, and even if you go back to a doctor, definitely the doctor will tell you, fine, you are using family planning. Remember, it's important to use family planning when you have started giving birth. But when you use it before, for example, if you use Depo-Provera, it means you'll not receive for 3 months, then you receive. So tell me, when you're a young girl and you're already using Depo, what does that mean to you? It means very great challenges that you'll face ahead. What about if you use, what do we call it? This one, whatever it is.
This is a lesson
so you
in
put in
family planning.
for how many years? The doctor tells you you stay for 5 years. 5 years with no child. This is naturally made by God. Now you have brought in your way of ensuring you're trying to safeguard, you don't want to get pregnant, but there are consequences on it.
I think the most important thing for me here is that young couples or couples need to know that there's remedy. You know, they need to seek medical attention, and indeed science is so developed now.
Because both of them were wrong.
Correct.
Yes, they did not seek the proper solution. The husband probably refused to go to hospital. He could have been the one with the problem. She decided to use another method that had very bad consequences. I think the problem was across
it's not a bad.
It takes two to tango.
It's only that today in our with us and our generation, we don't believe in it. During our mother's time, they would sit down, and my dad, for example, would say, I know I have this problem. Or even not my dad. The family will come and the mother will tell you, we know our son has these challenges. You will have to go.
But that is accepted within the family.
Listen how they used to do it. You have to go to your brother, or the brother of the brother will come, and they will conceive children, and nobody will ever talk about it.
In this day and age of HIV and other variants.
No, that's what I'm saying. In our generation,
to be encouraged in
no. It's only in Nairobi when you're speaking like that. You go in the rural where
but the husband
asked me in Western.
On this particular occasion, the husband was reacting to having discovered or caught the wife in a relationship with another man. So obviously, even for the husband, he felt that the woman was being unfaithful, and his reaction was extreme.
She was unfaithful.
Obviously, he felt that
if we could flip the coin, and the husband discovers that his wife cannot bear a child, and he goes out and gets a child outside
with another woman,
would the woman be justified
in shopping his hands?
This anger?
In most cases, the woman would be understanding. The woman might even ask the husband to bring the child home. Yes, that is the nature of the woman.
I'm outnumbered here, of course. We've seen cases where women actually dismember men as well because of extramarital affairs.
Flip the coin in two sides. Just what Rosa said. That's what the woman will do. But if the man also is an arrogant man, that is the day now you start.
And I think what it raises
what am I doing with you? I have a wife who has a child. I need to bring my wife here. Now you become zero.
Yes. It actually goes to the issue of gender-based violence, because gender means male or female-based violence. And learning how do we have the right conversations within not just marriage, relationships with our children. And I believe, you know, ladies, I'm doing my groundbreaking for my community center this morning at Wangunyo Primary School in Kiamba location. And it will have that gender-based violence desk there in the within the community center, because these are issues that we need to address. When we take a look at the crime statistics, the issue of rape, incest, the issue of the same kind of thing, just violence on all genders. It is a problem within our society. We're not talking to each other. We're not talking about our issues. So maybe
and the
need to
general
give,
lack of knowledge and information on this, or even discussions surrounding that issue, and probably that desk will offer some knowledge.
But just hoping that our community center, the community center that you're going to build, is more in the informal settlement area or the less privileged areas where
actually it is maybe within the only constituency within Kiambu that you'll actually find mud houses within that whole settlement area. And it's a very large area. If we take a look at the crime statistics within Kiambu, you'll find from there to Wangige has the highest levels of crime, which means it also, when you see high crime rate, it means there's a lot of underlying poverty within the area, lack of education within the community, and those are issues that I think on the affirmative action, which you know, my sister, when we are finished with this whole nomination issue, you'll be able to see that the issues that you address as a woman MP.
Saying what she'd like to say.
Now that you've introduced the nomination issue, let's move to other headlines.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Captain, and
all the best.
believe it.
Thank you. I hope you'll give me coverage this evening. You know,
you're going to build it in 3 months.
It will be done in 2 months with the new modern building technology.
Yeah, don't do the main way. You're just lying, doing
No. Women, you know, women leadership is something completely different.
Let's move on now to the politics, because now we're already campaigning, and party primaries are coming up in a few weeks, and the numbers are out. What you've been waiting for, the numbers are out. We're complaining about voter registration apathy, people not interested in voting. Of course, the situation in Kiambu is totally different. They've actually gone up by over 200,000 new voters. Now they stand at 1.173 million, and that is a good base for President Uhuru Kenyatta, because that is his backyard. And on the front page of the Daily Nation, the total number of registered voters now stands at 19.68 million. Of course, before the register is cleaned up, that could change slightly.
Absolutely, yeah.
But now, Jubilee-leaning counties actually give a total of 7.437 million voters. That's Jubilee leaning. Of course, they're basing it on how these regions voted in the last election. NASA leaning 7.043 million. That means they're behind by about 400,000 votes. Yes, but they're battlegrounds, including Nairobi. Yes, which could go either way. Nairobi has 2.3 million voters. That's a huge battleground. Kisii is also considered a huge battleground. Kajiado, 400,000. Really huge. Narok, Trans-Nzoia, because that's the border between Western and Rift Valley. Yes, and Nyamira County, or basically most regions in South Nyanza are considered battleground. Turkana, Mandera, Garissa, Wajir, Marsabit, Samburu, Isiolo. These are the borderline areas in northeastern and eastern. Now, that gives a basket of about 5.1 million swing votes, which could go either way. So surely 7.4, 7.04, it's a dead hit. It is a dead hit. Are you more optimistic? I remember Jubilee was even chest thumping that we do have the numbers now. From what you see, are you still feeling as bolstered?
Now that we've come to the political aspect of it, let's take a look here. 5.2 million votes. I do believe that this is an area that we need to just take a look at. Some of these areas have traditionally not gone the opposition side, and these are up for grabs. And I think
like
we can say,
for example,
what, Taita Taveta?
Oh, surely that one went the opposition.
I don't know why. Sorry, Tana River. We take a look at Kwale, but you know, it's really about what strategy we are going to employ to take a look at this, because right now we have our decided votes in these particular areas drawn out, isn't it?
So the Jubilee side, you're saying, Anna, is that you're going for this NASA leaning?
No, we didn't say we are going. We are just going to present a case to Kenyans in terms of who do you think can present. But your hope is that you're going to turn maybe these ones that are considered NASA leaning the battlegrounds. Sorry, the battlegrounds. Some of those NASA leaning I think with enough work, we'll ensure that they will cross over.
Rosa, are you hoping to do something similar from these counties that are considered Jubilee leaning? Do you think you can actually turn any of them towards to become NASA leaning?
Oh yes, of course.
Like which one, for example?
Of course. Let me tell you, if you see our the campaign pattern that we've had, you will see that our opposition leaders have not shied away from going into areas that are predominantly or that have been perceived to be Jubilee areas. I'm talking about Meru, I'm talking about Embu, so we still go to present our case there. But for Jubilee, you'll see that Jubilee has sort of restricted themselves to areas that they're almost clinging, wanting to hold what they had. So I see a case where the opposition will actually make inroads into the areas that are considered Jubilee areas. But I also want to say this. These leanings are based on 2013, the voting patterns of 2013, which were basically tribal based. What I noticed on the ground during this voter registration is we have a large percentage of voters who are going to be young people. Now these young people are not dogged with tribal leanings. They are going to vote across tribes. And anybody who's thinking that they're sitting pretty because of the leanings of 2013 will really be shocked. First of all, shocked because of the 5.2 million?
5.1, yeah, 5.2.
Which are large figures and swing votes for any other side to grab. And then even in the leanings, as you stated, the 7 point whatever million for both sides, there is a lot of young voters in that. A lot of them who are voting for the first time, or even if they're not voting for the first time, they are not going to vote because I'll vote for a Luo because I'm a Luo, or I'll vote for a Kikuyu because I'm a Kikuyu, etc. They are going to vote across those lines. So there are going to be a lot of surprises. And I know that we are going to appeal to that constituency of young people a lot, because they are also receptive to ideas, and what they really want is just good governance. And with Jubilee government, we've not had that good governance. So it's not a difficult story to tell to these young people.
Now, Senator, of course, the two ladies here come from different extremes. One from Kiambu, which we know how it will vote. The other one is from Kisumu. Of course, we know how it will go. You come from Nairobi. And it is considered probably the biggest swing vote, over 2 million votes. Any strategy on Jubilee's side? How much of that can you get? Last time you got less than 50% of that.
First of all, let me say this before I come to Nairobi, which is very critical, not just for Jubilee. It's critical for everyone, that when you are my governor who will get, either way, I'm now talking about whoever will win, remember 2.34. It's not a joke. So we are not going to play also Nairobian, and everyone here is a Nairobian first, because this is where you get your services before you go even to that room. We cannot play with the city. We cannot even joke with the city that we want to see at now politics. We want to see somebody who Kenyans in Nairobi, the second Kenya, will decide this is our government. But having said that, I want to tell Rosa, first of all, remove Kwale from Sijui Nasalini. Kwale toa. Now I want to tell you for facts. I look at the other...
And what are you basing that
because
on?
They got the governor.
Because the governor defected.
So one man is Kwale.
Not the governor defected. And Rosa, I've always told you, you know the good thing with Fred, he will call us after, whether we will win, but we are going to win. So we'll come here congratulating a citizen for giving us an opportunity, but at the same time, now dealing with the real facts.
I'm looking forward
to that. So Kwale, return this side. I want to tell Rosa, Mandera, remove. It is not even leaning our battleground. They have finished the elections, by the way. Wajir, you'll be so shocked before 90.
What has
Wajir is gone.
Wajir is an ODM zone. What has
now I'm telling you. See, because for 4 years people have been battling in this
now.
field. So I'm telling her what is reality now. Reality check.
Democracy
yes.
in Mandera.
And they are finished. And they are finished. They're just waiting for IBC to do a normal...
and all the ones that chosen by the leaders are
in Jubilee.
The only good thing for us is for elections on August 8th. But you can see Jubilee has already finished elections. I wonder what it is that's making them feel like they're finished.
It is not me who has finished.
They have decided.
And I said this would happen. Ladies, I said this would happen. That after the mass voter registration, we will come here with calculators and start saying
and
this.
We are doing the calculators. So I'm not calculating
who are going to vote, and those young people make up 65% of this population.
All I'm trying to
and
say,
I know they are going to make a difference in this election.
All I'm trying to tell Rosa, for us, we respect. That is our process. We have to go through nominations. Let us respect Northeastern. They have a different way of how they do their things. They believe in that process for many years. They've done it.
Garissa is also
No. I haven't brought in Garissa.
Senator,
I have removed 3 counties now, so you can remain in the Batana River.
We've also seen some dissensions in that area.
Yeah,
Some people have dissented and said they will go against the elders.
And let me tell you, you will see after, and you'll realize when you respect a process, you can't go against.
Wow.
Correct.
Anyway, time for a break. Our breakfast will be back to continue with more headlines.